Everyone says invest in mutual funds. It's the best way to build wealth. But अगर मैं आपसे कहूँ, sometimes investing in equity mutual funds is actually a bad idea. Not because markets are risky, but because your situation is not ready. Let's talk about 5 situations where you should not invest in stock mutual funds. पहला, high interest debt. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine was investing 10,000 every month in mutual funds. He felt good, like he was building wealth. But at the same time, he had a credit card outstanding of 1.5 lakh. Interest almost 30% per year. So what was actually happening? He was earning maybe 12% in the market, but losing 30% on the other side. He was going backwards while thinking he is moving forward. Once he realized this, he stopped investing, cleared the debt, and only then restarted his SIP. So the idea is to stop the leakage before you try to grow the money. Second, you are close to retirement without a financial cushion. A 58-year-old uncle invested a large part of his savings into equity mutual funds just 2 years before his retirement. Why? Because someone told him mutual funds अच्छे हैं, mutual funds give better returns than FD. Then the market corrected. His portfolio went down 15-20%. Problem क्या है? Problem है he needed that money in 2 years for his retirement expenses. He could not wait 5 to 7 years for the market to recover. So he had no choice. He withdrew at a loss. Years of savings reduced. Not because mutual funds are bad, no. But because he didn't have the time to recover from a fall. At this stage, the goal is simple. Protect your money, not chase returns. Third, high home loan EMI burden. A very common scenario. A couple is paying 60,000 EMI on a 1.2 lakh salary. That's 50% of their income. Still, they start a 15,000 SIP. Now look at their monthly situation. 60,000 का EMI है, 15,000 का SIP है, regular household expenses तो है ही. There's barely any buffer left. Then something normal happens. Medical का खर्चा आ गया, car repair, or even a temporary job issue. Suddenly, they need cash. Now here's the problem. Most of their money is already committed. Their investments are in equity. At the same time, let's say the market is down 10-15%. So what are their options? They stop the SIP to manage monthly cash flow, or worse, they withdraw investments when markets are down to handle the emergency. Not because they want to, but because they have no choice. And that's how good investments turn into bad outcomes. If they had more breathing room, they could have stayed invested calmly. If your EMI is choking your monthly life, don't chase returns. Fix your cash flow first. In this situation, instead of forcing investments, it's smarter to first build some safety and even prepay part of your loan, so your monthly life becomes easier. Then you can invest properly. Don't invest just because you can. Invest when you can sustain it comfortably. Fourth, short-term goals. If you need money in the next 3 to 5 years, wedding hai, घर का down payment, anything important, equity mutual funds are not the place to keep. Markets can fall anytime, and if they fall when you need the money, you are forced to take a loss. No time equal to no risk. Number 5, no emergency fund. If you don't have at least 3 to 6 months of expenses saved, one problem, job loss, medical emergency, and you will break your investments, and most likely during a market crash. So you sell low and lose money. So always build a safety net first. So here is the truth. Equity mutual funds are not bad, but they're not for every situation. If your basics are not in place, high debt, no emergency fund, cash flow stress, then investing won't fix your finances. Fix your foundation first and then build wealth. Because in finance, it's not just about where you invest, it's about when you are ready.